Hey guys, good morning all. Just give me a yes in the chat if you guys can hear me and see the sublime text. Quickly give me a yes in the chat if everybody can hear me loud and clear and you guys can see the sublime text. All of you can? Cool. Let's start with the session. We are almost 55 folks and few are yet to join, but I think we are good to start. I just wait for first 5 to 10 minutes for everybody to join. We'll try to keep it within 5 minutes and then in the moving classes, we can start from there. Okay. All right, guys, as I'm aware, this is your very first class of your DSA, which is data structures and algorithms. And I assume that most of you have not been taught by me before. So I'll go a brief round of introduction so you guys know that who is your tutor and I would know the kind of audience I'm teaching to as well, right? So I'll go with the agenda here. What are we going to cover as part of this 2.5 hour session? We'll talk about a brief introduction. I'll get to know about you guys. You guys will get to know about me. We'll talk about what is data structures algorithm. We'll talk about basics of that. This initial few classes will be introduction to programming. Then we'll talk about variables and constant. Then we'll go to data types, operators, and we'll go through loops and some pattern printing questions. Okay. We'll try to see whatever we can cover. I don't expect to cover everything as part of this 2.5 hour session. So we'll go slow because everybody has their different pace of learning, right? All right. Have I taught any of you before? Just say yes or no in the chat. So I would know if anybody is a returning student. Nope. Okay. Cool. That's good. There's a fresh new batch, so we'll get to know each other. All right, guys, I'll start with a bit self-introduction. I'll try to keep it short as much as possible so I can focus on the class and I'll get to know you guys as well. Okay. Well, you would have already noticed, my name is Devang. I'm going to be your instructor for your data structures algorithms. And if you guys continue with your high-level design or low-level design, mostly I'll be teaching that as well. Okay. At present, I'm working at senior software engineer at Amazon. Prior to that, I was working as a tech lead at Bank of Montreal, where I was dealing with hedge funds and commercial markets and commercial banking across North America. Okay. And prior to that, I was working as a SSE, senior software engineer at Meta. And prior to that, I worked with a couple of other companies, including Cisco, Grab, and so on and so forth. Okay. Currently, I'm located in Toronto. I move around Toronto and New York quite a lot based upon the nature of my job and a few times to Seattle as well. Currently, as of this moment, I'm currently in Toronto or NYC or Seattle, whatever that can be. Prior to that, I have worked with Grab and with Cisco in their London office. Meta also briefly, I worked in the London office, but mostly in the Toronto office. Okay. This is my professional journey. This is what I'm teaching with Amazon. If somebody has asked, I'm working with AWS precisely. Amazon is a big organization. There I'm part of the AWS marketplace team. In case anybody wants to check it out, that's the product that my team is responsible for. Okay. Prior to that, I've also worked with as a part-time or as a full-time contract, you can say, with NASA as a senior research fellow when I was in London. All right, guys, that's about my professional journey, what the companies that I worked for. Now, coming specifically to sports programming or CP, if anybody is interested. Although this is a DSA course, but I would highly recommend at the end of this session, once you guys, some of you guys will be interested to pursue CP. I would highly recommend everyone does. That's your personal choice if you want to. But I would highly recommend all of you to pursue CP. In case anybody doesn't know what is CP, CP is called competitive programming. Okay, we'll talk about it. There's some new terms which you may know it or may not know about it. So we'll go through the course about that. Okay. Regarding to my CP, I've been quite active since my college days and post that. So I have done Top Coder Open 2021 and 2022. I've been a world finalist. And if in case you guys know about Code Jam, so Google has a contest called Google Code Jam and Facebook Hacker Cup. These are like the major ones. I've been a world semi-finalist there. Okay. For 2019, 2020, and 2021. Okay. All right. I've covered my professional journey. I've covered my CP journey. What else? If anybody's interested in open source, I'm quite active in terms of React and React Native. Any React developers here? Just say yes in the chat. Any React Native developers? Okay, that's good to know. That's good to know. Cool. So you guys would probably know about it. React Native came after 3 years from 2019 to 2022. And at that time, they make the major structures in the bridges architecture, right? If you read about the React Native architecture, pretty much it's open source. You can read about it. You'll get to know the way that we are now able to interact with the Android devices It's way better optimization that we were used to do in 2019 version. Okay. So I continued with that team. I worked with Fedora and with Mozilla as well. Okay. Although there are not much projects coming from Mozilla right now, but if you look at the open source contributions, you can find it on my GitHub profile. Last but not the least, for research, I've been actively in the space of Gen AI, and prior to that, I've been in the space of machine learning as well as in general for research papers. So as of now, I have around, I don't know how many exactly I have, but it's more than 520. That's I last checked. Citations. So if anybody's in the research paper, there's a website called ResearchGate. There you can read the research paper of other people, or you can publish your research papers, or you can list down the research paper that you have published. Okay. Or if you want to know more about, I'm just a Google search away. You can just Google my name. Okay. I don't want to spend too much time giving my introduction. All right, guys, that's about me. I think I've covered my professional journey, my sports programming journey, my open source, my research. Yeah, last but not the least, for teaching journey. I think that's more important too. I've been teaching for more than 8 years now, to be very honest. And with Tutort Academy, I've been teaching for more than 3 years, more or less, more than 3 years. Prior to that, I've taught with other major academies as well, which you might know about in India or across the world. I have, let me put it out here. I have taught more than 50,000 mentees across all the domains, including courses from Udemy, Coursera, etc., virtual as well as the academy specific courses. Okay. Mostly I have taught data structures, algorithm, system design, high level design, low level design, then machine learning, MERN stack, Android courses, so on and so forth. Okay. All right, guys, that's brief about me. Well, it's not brief, I've covered a lot. Now I'll pass the baton to you guys. I would like to know certain things about you. Obviously, we are more than 52 right now, as I can see on the batch strength. So we'll try to streamline this. How are you going to streamline this? For every one of you, I just want three inputs. So you can give one message which will contain the three inputs. Number one, mentioning about your current role or current branch, which batch did you pass out from and what years of experience you are carrying. So your current role, what years of experience you are carrying, what's your background, like what was your major, which batch did you pass out, so on and so forth, right? Or even if you give any of them, it's pretty much the same thing, whatever you guys want to answer. So just two things, guys. What's your current role, how much years of experience you're carrying, and what was your background? Like what did you do your graduation in or master's in, whatever your latest degree. Okay. Up to you guys. You guys can mention in the chat so I will know the kind of audience I'm catering to. Come on, guys, go ahead in the chat. Okay, we have Tech Mahindra, 11 years, MCA, that is good. What about other folks? Lead full stack software developer, MS software engineering, nice, 9 plus. Then we have lead engineer, MTech ESE QA2, BTech 2015, years of experience, 9 years. Okay, we got 11, we got 9, we got a fresher as well. Okay, nice. What else? 9 years, 9 years, 5 years. Okay. We got from Amazon, MTech EC, nice, 9 years, 8 years, 3.9 years, pretty much 4 years. Oracle, okay, 9 years, 12 years. Then we have 5 years, 20 plus years. Okay, that is good. 4 years, 6 years, 4.53, C++ they have 9 years, 16 years, I guess, or maybe 2016, I'm not sure. 2020, 3 years of experience, 2021, 3.3, 3 years, 2018, 2 years. Okay, okay, quite a lot of people. Or the earliest that I found is somebody with 20 plus years of experience. So I'm assuming somewhere around 2004 or the previous batches. And the latest that I found was 2025 batch, if I'm not wrong. Okay. So I'm assuming like this goes from 2 years or even 0 years to 20 years or maybe more. And batch are quite diverse. And this has been quite diverse too, right? All right, 2004 to maybe 2025. All right, guys. I think thanks for giving me a brief introduction. The reason I ask this introduction is I get to know the kind of audience I'm teaching with. And the reason for that is you guys are coming from very diverse experiences and very diverse fields as well, right? I would keep this course in such a way that everybody is able to grow and everybody is able to understand the concepts. Okay. That's all I need, guys. I don't need any other inputs from your side. Just a bit about the course. I want to teach this course language agnostic. What do you mean by language agnostic? I'll be mostly coding in Java, but apart from that, I can code in Python, C++, or any language of which you want me to code. C++, C Sharp, Golang, Java, whatever language it is, right? The idea of a data structure algorithm, and in case anybody doesn't know that, any problem solving round in any company that you have, or in general, if you just talk about data structure algorithm, these are language agnostics. What do you mean by language agnostics? Whenever a problem statement is given to you, you're free to code in any language. Until and unless there is a specific role. For example, if there's a role of Java engineer, you don't expect to write code in Python there, right? But in general, if there's a problem solving round, any data structure algorithm round, you're free to use whatever coding language you want and the way you want to implement it. Okay. So I'll keep the course like this so you guys can grab the concepts. More or less, data structure algorithm are same across the languages, but there are bit differences in terms of how they're implemented, how they are actually written in the code, so on and so forth. Okay. So I'll keep this course majorly in Java as we have most of the Java developers. But if you want some other language, feel free to ask for code for that. Okay. All right, guys. I think that's enough for the introduction. I'll just mark this guy's turn. You guys have got to know about me. I got to know about you guys. We talked about the batch. How are we going to continue it? Any questions so far? Feel free to stop me at any point. You guys have access to the chat. So the chat have two options. You can do message to everyone or you can message directly to me as well. Feel free to ask a question at any moment. You don't wait till the end of the session. You can ask the question at any point and I would love to answer it. Since there's lot many people and there will be so many messages, I'll try to answer one by one. But feel free to answer or feel free to ask any question that you have. Okay. Yeah, go ahead, guys. Clear your doubts. Any question that you have, feel free to ask. Then I'll start with the basics of TSA. Okay. Is this recording session would be shared for reference in future? Can this also be tested using C language? To the first part, yes. To the second part, is there anything specific that you want to code in C language? Yes, we can code, but although not majority of the DSA thing you will be coding in C language. And the reason for that is not all the data structure that you will have available in C language altogether. C++, yes. C language would become quite obsolete for a lot of people. I can give a code if you want specifically. I can share the code in C language. It's just that it will become very specific to you specifically. Okay. I'm Ruby or Rails developer. Should I do DSA using Ruby Learn or language Java? In my opinion, depends on your experience. If you think that you have sufficient experience and you have sufficient hands-on with Ruby, I would not recommend you to switch it. If you are very confident in solving the problem, it's all about understanding the concept. There's certain data structure, there's certain algorithms, and you solve a problem using combination of that. If you feel you are hands enough and you feel confident in Ruby, I will not ask you to switch. However, my personal advice is most of the companies still have their code base in Java. Obviously, there are uprising languages like major languages like now Python, and then there is Golang, there is Rust, and so on and so forth. They are on the rise. I'm not denying that. But still, if you look at it, the industry is mostly still reliant upon Java. So that will help you because whoever you're writing code with or whoever you're probably giving interview with, they will understand Java more or less. May not understand Ruby. So that's what my piece of recommendation. But as long as you can write a clean code and you can explain it, I think you should be good to go. Okay. All right, guys. I've been mostly using in UI. May I use JavaScript for DSA? Yes, I'm fine with C++. Yes, you can use JavaScript with DSA as long as, again, you feel confident enough to implement it. C++ another good backend language. Apex Divert Salesforce have lost touch with Java Python. What should I start with? Um, I would say pick one backend language or pick any language that you are comfortable with or you want to be comfortable with. The reason I promote for Java is because of a simple reason. It's a very high likely chance whichever company, whichever good product based company we are targeting for, they would have a code base in Java. It's a very high likely chance. It's a 95% chance. Do product based companies only target DSA system design skills? What about development skills? How much should be knowing, say 4 or 5 years experience? Okay, that's a good question and a very popularly asked question. So let me clarify that. See, when you say product-based company, there are thousands of product-based companies, right? I can speak for the large established companies that I have worked for, the company that I have interviewed for, and my mentees have interviewed for. That's something that I have deep knowledge in. The large product-based companies, or I would say the top product-based companies, which includes farm companies or Microsoft or Uber and similar of that sort, PayPal, etc. They all come in same category, more or less. Okay. I'm not comparing between companies. I'm just listing the big companies here. They have very structured rounds of interview. What do I mean by structured rounds of interview? Depending upon whatever, let me write it here also. SD1, SD2, SD3, and so on and so forth. Okay. SD1 is usually 1, 2, 3. Again, this depends on organization to organization. Sometimes these titles are not precise across the organization. Sometimes it might be SD3 at one organization and SD2 at another organization, so on and so forth. So these are generally I'm talking about, right? It's specific to every organization and all. So they usually have like 3 to 4 rounds of interview. Outside of these 3 to 4 rounds, you can expect 2 DSA round or coding rounds. Okay. In SD2, you can expect like 4 to 5 rounds in total, out of which there would be 2 DSA, then there would be 1 to 2 system design, and then hiring manager, and so on and so forth. Okay. SD3 again, there's going to be 4 to 5 rounds. You can pretty much expect the same thing, 2 DSA, 1 to 2 system design. The only thing is it will go much deeper than compared to the SD2, so on and so forth. Okay. This is how it usually works. So to your question, do all product-based company ask just the coding questions? The answer is no. The majorly established companies that have a standard process of conducting interviews, they have very well defined rounds of interview. So, and that goes like this, and they will inform you well in advance. Your recruiter will tell you in advance what interview rounds, what you need to expect, so on and so forth. To the second part of your question, what about development skills? See, development skills are important. I'm not denying it, but in these large based companies, I don't think they are testing that in the interview, right? What they will be testing is, are you good with the fundamentals of data structures, algorithm? Do you know the understanding of the system design, high level design, low level design in detail? If you have that, it's assumed that you will have a good development skills. And that is correct. It's not like it's assumed. You will have good development skill. That's how you're able to clear the interviews, right? Apart from that, there are many other good companies, like there are other product based companies which are like good startups based companies, which includes, let's say, Flipkart, there can be Swiggy, and you can compare with these sorts. PhonePe is one of them, etc., etc. They have specifically rounds called machine coding round. Okay, in that case, you would have to come up with develop a feature or a particular product or whatever you have to make within 2 to 3 hours of coding. Okay, they will care about your development skills. And certain other companies also, they will specifically focus on development skills. They will give you a specific tech stack, they'll give you assignment to complete, and how do you code that. Okay, so long story short, it depends on the companies and it depends on which specific role are they hiring for. If there's a very specific role, let's say for a particular tech stack, then they would definitely expect more of the development as compared to the data structures algorithm. Okay. All right, guys. Any more things? Any more questions, clarifications? I have just gone through some blocks to do advanced TS. Java is preferred. In Ruby, we couldn't be able to do it. Find solution. Anyhow, we will teach in Java. I understand Java. After that, I have to do Ruby. Yeah, sounds good. Sounds good. All right, guys. I think I've answered majority of your questions. Now let's get started with the session. The first thing that we're going to know about or learn about is understanding DSA. The word DSA is comprised of two things, DS and A. DS refers to data structures and A refers to algorithms. Data structures and algorithms. Now, what do we mean by the data structures and algorithm? Let's try to answer that. First, I will go with the theoretical definition and then I'll go with the practical definition because that's how I like to teach. Once we are done with theoretical and practical definition, then we'll try to make an analogy or we try to remap the practical definition to theoretical definition. Okay. So I'm writing the keywords data structures here, algorithms here. Within one line, without any bookish answer, without any Google search, without any chat GPT input, just answer me in one simple line, plain English. What do you understand by data structure and what do you understand by algorithms? Go ahead, guys. Whatever understanding you have, there is no right or wrong answer. Feel free to answer in the chat. What do you think is data structure? What do you think is algorithm? One line, simple, plain English. I don't want any technical jargons. I don't want any complicated things. Quickly in the chat, guys. Whichever definition you are giving, please mention this is DS and this is algo, something like that. Come on, guys, be quick. Whatever you understand, whatever is your understanding right now, let me know. Storing data efficiently, steps to arrange, containers, logic to process. Okay. Data in a program, basic logic of a program, organizing data algorithm, steps to solve problem. Okay. Program flow helps in dealing with data structures, way to store data, used to perform data operations. Okay. All right, guys, anybody else? Particular format, perform some method to arrange it. All right, enough time, guys. Let's discuss the answer. See, all of your answers are correct. Majority of your answers are correct. I will not say all of them. Majority of your answers are correct and they're good, but let's define it. Again, I'm not using any theoretical definition, any bookish definition. Try to understand what they means. You can copy the technical jargons from any book or any definition that you want. Understand. When somebody says data structures, what does that mean? What does data structure means? Obviously, it's composed of two things. One word is data, one word is structures. So when somebody says data structure, it means containers used to store data to perform operations on it. And that's it. It is just a container which is used to store data so that we can perform operations on it. Example includes of data structures, arrays, linked list, stacks, queues, trees, graphs, map, set, price, etc. etc. Okay. All of these are data structure. These are just the containers which are used to store data so that you can perform operations on it. When somebody says algorithms, what does that mean? Algorithms are step-by-step process to solve any task using appropriate data structures. Okay. A step-by-step process to solve any task using appropriate data structure. What are the examples of algorithm? Examples of algorithm include dynamic programming, which we call as DP, recursion, divide and conquer. What else? Backtracking, searching, etc. etc. Searching, greedy, sorting, hashing. All of this are your algorithms. Okay. You can make on shared word or drive where you can just copy paste the whole thing after lecture is a device. You will get these notes. I think you guys have access to your LMS. If not, you will get access to LMS. All your notes will be given to one. So there you will find the recording as well as the notes. Okay. So don't worry about that. So this is the definition. What are data structures? Data structures are the containers which is used to store data so that you can perform operations on it. Arrays, linked list, stack, queues, trees, graph, map, set. All of these are the containers where you're storing some or other form of data so that you can perform operations on it. What are algorithms? These are the step-by-step process. How can you solve any task using appropriate data structure? Remember, algorithms use data structures, not the other way around. So DP, recursion, divide, conquer, backtracking, etc., etc., along with whichever data structure you want to use so that you can solve a problem step by step. That is a theoretical definition. As I said, I like to cover theoretical definition with a practical example, so it makes it crystal clear. Now I'll come to a practical example and then I'll come back to a theoretical definition and we'll compare both the things. Forget about whatever definition you have learned. Just focus on the practical example that I'm going to give now. I want to give you guys a task. The task is that I have 20 liters of water with me. Okay. And I have some resources. Resources. I have 5 buckets, each with a capacity of 10 liter. I have 5 buckets, each with a capacity of 10 liter, and I have a task that I have 20 liters of water. Now the task is, what are the ways to store water in bucket? This is what you need to tell me. I have 20 liters of water. I have 5 buckets, each with a capacity of 10 liter. Just tell me what are the different ways. I don't want the number of ways. Don't confuse with the number of ways. I'm not asking permutation combination here. Tell me what are the some of the ways that you can think that you can store water in the buckets. Okay. Even before I go there, is it possible to store the 20-liter water? Yes or no? With these resources, is it possible? Yes or no? Of course, it's possible. 5 into 10, 50. You can store up to 50. 20 is less than 50. So answer is yes, you can do it. Now tell me any of the 2, 3, 4, 5, 10 ways that you can immediately think. What are some of the ways that you can store water in the bucket? Quickly in the chat. Come on, guys, be quick. 4 liters in 5 buckets. Okay, that's one way. Equal distribute in 5 buckets. Okay, what else? 2 buckets, 20 liter, evenly max distribute. 2 buckets is 10 liter. Okay. There are many ways, guys. There are many, many ways. But the top two answers that I've got, let's go with the top two answers. And there are thousands and thousands of ways. First way is I can keep 10 liter in the first bucket. I can keep the 10 liter in second bucket. So what I've done technically, I utilized both the resources to their maximum capability. Agree? I utilize most of the resources by their maximum capacity and I'll keep the rest of the buckets as empty. Second way is I can put equally distribute them. So B1 4 bucket, B2 4 bucket, B3 4 bucket, B4 4 bucket, B5 4 bucket, right? In each bucket, I can put 4 liter each. And there are many, many other ways. I'm not even concerned about how many ways are there. There are many ways. All right. Now just hold on a second and try to understand why did I take that example. What was our task? 20 liters of water. What were resources? 5 buckets, 10 liter capacity each. We just listed the top two ways, and there can be many other ways. One way, I can just use 2 buckets and I can keep rest of them empty. Those 2 buckets, I can keep it to the maximum utilization. Second way, all the buckets I can keep and I can equally distribute the load. All agree with this so far? Come on, guys, quickly in the chat. Okay. Now coming to the part why I did take this example. This is the example because what are you storing? Water. That is your data. Where you are storing? A container. That is bucket. That is your data structure. How are you storing it? That is algorithm. Okay. This is what you are doing. So now if you relate back to it, what you are storing? Data. That is water here. Where you are storing it? Bucket. That is your container here. How you are storing it? That is an algorithm. Okay. Come back to the definition. Data structures are a container which is used to store data so you can perform operations on it. Algorithm is just a step-by-step process. How do you solve any task? One algorithm can be better performing, one algorithm can be less better performing. That is what you call as optimize, less optimize, complexity, etc. etc. That part comes in the picture. Everybody crystal clear with the practical example. Does data structure algorithm is crystal clear to you? If anybody asks you to explain it, can you explain it very well and in a simple format? Okay. Now, there is one more thing, which is a bit extended or a bit advanced part, but just want to discuss on that. Out of these two ways, which one do you think is a more efficient way? So basically what I'm asking is out of these two algorithms, which one do you think is more optimized? Okay, some of you are saying first, some of you are saying second. Come on, guys, there should be one which is optimized, right? Correct. The answer is based upon requirement. See, if you look at the first way, one thing that I'm really doing good at is I'm doing efficient use of resources. If I can get the job done in two resources, or let's think it about a server, right? If I can get the job done in two servers, why should I include 5 servers in it? In that way, this is efficient use of resources. And this is wastage of resources. Okay. If something can be done in 2 servers, why are you using 5 servers for it? 2 resources, why are you using 5 resources for it? Another way of looking at that can be this. I am not equally distributing the load. If these are my nodes, or let's say these are my servers in a system, 2 servers are handling everything, and I have 3 servers which are sitting idle. And if I look at this, all my servers are effectively handling the load. Okay, so it's all depend upon input, or it all depends on the way you want to see it. But just telling you, the way we compare is what we call as the optimization. So if I just look from the core perspective of use of resources, first algorithm is more optimized. That's what you call as optimized. Something is better in terms of time or space complexity. Okay. This is the definition of data structures algorithm. I talked about theoretical definition, I covered with practical example, then I worked through the use case of the optimizations. Everybody clear so far? Come on guys, quickly in the chat. Just type clear in the chat or yes in the chat, whatever works. All right. Now let's move to the next topic. This guy is done. Next topic is variable and constant. Here we go. Let's start with variables and constants. So, what do you mean by variable? Let's try to understand that. Variable is a word which is made of two words. The first word is vary, and the second word is able. Vary means they can change value or forms. Able means the ability, and vary means they can change it. Anything which has the ability to change the value or change the form, that is called the variable. Example, if I define integer a equal to 10 and I put a equal to 20, will I get any error? Will I get any error? There is no error. Why? Because this guy is a variable. So it can take any value and any number of times I'll assign it the value. There's no problem at all. That is what a variable is. What do you mean by constant? Constant, the word itself tells you that you cannot change the value. What do you mean by cannot change the value? So let's say I define constant integer b equal to 20. The word keyword constant is same in C++, it's same in Go, same in Perl, etc. etc. And in Java, constant used to be a keyword, but after JDK 14, we replaced it with final keyword. Let's say b equal to 20. This is for Java. Now, if I try to change the value of b, will this give me error? 100% this will give me error. Why it will give me error? It will give me error saying you defined to be something final, you defined something to be a constant, and now you are trying to change the value of it. That is not allowed. Okay. As I said, with every concept, we go through the code or practical example. So let's go to lead code. Let's go to the code example and let's verify by ourselves. In case anybody is not familiar with lead code, this is the platform that you'll be using. So I'll just give you a brief overview. Anyways, once we go to that part, how do we solve questions and all, I'll walk through that again. Okay. But as of now, this is where we'll be doing most of our coding in or most of our questions with. So in case you guys don't know about, the first thing I would recommend is please go to lead code and create your account here. I don't know why it has logged me out. Let me quickly log in with my credentials because I'm always logged in. Maybe some cache issue. Okay, let me log in with my account real quick. There you go. Now I'm logged in. Okay. Anyways, it has logged me out because of cache. Cool. I'll just give a brief overview of how LeetCode looks like. This is the platform of LeetCode will look like. I'll just give this link in the chat as well. There you go. This is LeetCode. A really good website that we're going to refer while solving questions, while doing few concepts, as well as doing the online assessment or something like in terms of our playground. So you can find some of the good important featured courses which are available, for example, for DSA, for interviews, so on and so forth, right? There's some really good curated. What we are most interested is in the problem set. So if you look at the problem set, let's see the problem set. This is a total of problem set which is available here, right? So LeetCode has all the list of problem set. So if you have like top interview 150, this is what we'll be doing, by the way, as part of this course. Once I'll go there, I'll talk about it. We'll be doing LeetCode 75, we'll be doing top interview 150. And then there's certain questions specific to the interviews as well, or the companies as well. So as of now, LeetCode has how many? Have they given any count? No. Okay. I think it's more than 3,800 because that's what I last checked. But anyways, there are quite a number of problems. So you can filter by difficulty, you can filter by list, you can filter by the status, you can filter by the tags, so on and so forth. Then you can search the question name as well. Okay. So out of this, we'll be doing the top interview question, top 100 like questions, top 150 interview questions. So I have very curated list of courses or curated list of questions that we'll be covering. So all the 3, 4 major lists that we have to focus in terms of interview. To give you a rough idea, we'll be solving around 200 or 250 questions. This course will go around 4 to 5 months, if not 6 months. And during that 4 to 5 months, we'll be solving around 200 to 250 questions in total, including in-class and assignments. Okay. I have curated the assignments specifically for the questions which are very important from the interview. So I covered the major questions which are like very relevant. I'll cover it in class. and they'll give the follow-up questions in the assignment. You'll get to those assignments once we move to that part. But just I'm giving a brief overview how the course structure will look like. Okay. So these major streams like curated algorithm, curated top 100, like top 150 interview questions, and 8 code 75. The list that I have prepared for the question includes all of them. Okay. Most of them are overlapping questions. In total, we have roughly around 250 questions. Now, as I said, if you don't have an account, please make an account here. Once you become confident enough, this is what I would recommend. Go to the contest, start participating in the contest. This is something really good which will help you in upcoming interviews. A bit about this, once you create your profile or once you logged in, this is how your profile will probably look like. Okay. And there you can check like what is your contest rating, what's your rank, how many questions you have solved, so on and so forth. If you participate in rank and so forth, you would have your badges also, whatever badges you have, so on and so forth. I think it code has 3431, and you can see like what's your acceptance rate, whatever submissions you have done, out of which how many have accepted. And okay, I think you can find the acceptance rate based upon easy, medium, hard also. Anyways, this is something that you can figure out. Now coming back to it, what I have taken is I have taken for the playground. So let's go to the playground. So in case anybody is not aware, one moment. Good question. Do we need to sign up for a premium account? For the question that we are solving, you don't need a premium account. There would be premium question that will be solving. For that, we have a Chinese website, which we call as Lint Code, LINTCOD. So I will be referring to Lint Code in case anybody does not have a premium account. However, I would recommend that if you can afford it, and maybe if you don't want to buy it by yourself, group of you, a lot of you can combine together and you can share the price. I don't know what's the common price right now. Usually it's a good time to buy near the Black Friday sale. So you get it a little cheaper there. So you guys can pool together and you guys can create multiple sessions. So you guys are not confused whether to turn the code, so on and so forth. Okay, that's what a lot of people do. My personal recommendation is it's worth it because you get access to good quality question. Is it absolutely mandatory? No, you have lint code for that. You can find the same questions there also. You don't have to pay for it. But if you can afford to pay for it, and if you can like pool it and it will be really cheap for you, maybe 25 bucks each, I think it's worth it. Okay, but again, it's your personal decision, whatever way you want to do it. Now coming back to it, we're talking about variables and constants. Let's verify variables and constants. First thing, I give integer a equal to 10. And I want to print the value of a. That's good. Then when I give a equal to 20, I want to print the value of a. So do you guys think there would be any error here? Let's run the code. There is no error. It was initially 10. It's a variable. I can change it to 20. I will get the output. No worries. Final integer b equal to 20. I want to print the value of b. Do you expect any error now? I have not changed anything. I'm just printing the value. So there should not be any error in printing a value. However, b equal to 40, system.out.println b. Now if I run the code, now I get an error. And what is the error? Cannot assign a value to final variable b. If this is a final variable, you cannot assign the value. So this is what the issue is. You cannot change a constant. That's the definition of a constant. Okay. There you go. I'll write down the output. Output will be 10, 20, 20, so forth. Okay. Everybody clear? Everybody clear so far? Okay. Now, one more thing, guys. That's something I'll cover deeper in detail, but just right now I want to discuss something, and then I'll go to the next part. One moment. Yeah, one thing. We have to cover that in detail later, but just to tell you something. In online compilers that you are seeing, understand one thing. Java is a compiled language. There are two kinds of programming languages to define. One is compiled, one is interpreted. We'll go there when we talk about time and space company. I don't want to invest too much time here, but just want to tell you the code that we are writing in an online compiler, that is Java. And Java is a compiled language. What do you mean by compiled language? Compiled language works in two steps. First, the compilation happens, then the execution happens. So you have a source code. From that source code, you go to machine code. From that machine code, you get the output. Okay. There is an intermediate step called machine code. Remember that. This conversion of source code to machine code is called compilation. And machine code to output is called the execution. So this is bytecode. We call that bytecode in Java and Golang. We don't call it bytecode in all languages. The common term is machine code. So I just don't want to say bytecode because that's specific to Java or Golang. This bytecode looks like dot class file in any Java file. Okay. And then you will lead to the execution to output. Just telling you, Java will not change its behavior based upon whether you're coding in your local machine, like on a VS Code or IntelliJ or whatever you're using, versus if you're doing it in an online system. The thing with that is, if you run it in a VS Code, if you compile the code, the first thing you will do is you will find a dot class file. Let's say I write a code main.java. First, you will see a main.class file. And the code is taken from the main.class file, not your main.java file. Okay. I'll come back with an example. I'm not doing it right now. Once we go to the time and space counter, I'll tell you. But just telling you, the code that you are getting the output, you're not getting from your source code. You're getting it from your compiled code. Okay. Main.java will convert to main.class. Main.class will act as a source of truth. Let me write it here. Main.java will convert to main.class. This will convert to the output. So the output, this is source code. This is machine code. Source of truth for output is what? It is not main.java. It is main.class. Okay. I can actually give you a demo rather than me telling it. Demo would have been better. Anyways, till the time my VS Code opens and then I can give you a demo. Let me just wait a few moments till it will be up. All right, just waiting for it. One moment. Let's see where we are. Okay, here we are. Anyways, let me clear this real quick. Let me come back to where I am. Give me one moment, guys. I'm just setting up my VS Code. Too many code here. All right, let me take you guys here. My VS Code. Just let me know once you guys can see it. I'll minimize. I have so many extensions working. Just change. Can you guys see my VS Code? Just confirm in the chat. You guys can. Cool. I will go back. I will go to documents. I'm sorry, I will go to GitHub. Nope. Cool. I will go here. I will ls. Somewhere I should have my main.java. Okay, that's good. Cool. Anyways, now come back to this. A very simple code, a very simple public class main file. I have named it as main.java. Now notice on the left side, this main.class file, I'm going to delete it right in front of you. So this guy, I'm going to delete. Should have been deleted by now, but anyways, okay. Main.class file is deleted. Now I have only one thing, which is main.java. Everybody can see it. I just have one file, which is main.java, nothing else. What I'm written in the code, let's have a look. I've just said public static voiding main and I have given the string arguments. I'm just going to edit this guy. Come on. I want to say Deva. That's it. That's what I want to print. Now, I have explained the flow. How does the compilation happen? How does the execution happen? Which I'll come back to it, which I've already explained, by the way. Now, the flow works this way is first, you have this Java code. First, you compile it. So you will say Java C, main.java, whatever is the name of a file. It will create a machine code, which is main.class. And then when you say Java main or whatever the name of the file again, that will create you the output. The whole point is the output is not given from your Java code. Output is given from your .class file. And this is what I want to prove you with the help of code. Now, observe your attention here. I do Java C main.java. Before I run this command, can you guys confirm that if I have any main.class file already? Do I have any main.class file already? No. All good, right? Java version I'm using 20 should be fine. Java C main.java. Now just focus on this. Once I run this command, what will happen? The moment I say Java C main.java, it's still executing. It created a .class file. Can you guys see? There was no .class file before. We deleted it. The moment I say Java C main.java, it got created. That is the equivalent version of whatever you have written the code for a machine to understand. Be clear with one thing, in case that's very basic, but just telling you right now. Machines do not understand Java. Machines do not understand C++, Python, Golang, Ruby, anything. Machines understand 0 and 1. The language of machines is binary. Any piece of instruction, not just in programming, any piece of instruction. You have robotics, you have drones, you have the UV rays, or you have the pointers. All of the machines behave in 0 and 1. They only understand the instructions of 0 and 1, which is bits, right? So how do we convert this form of instruction? I know that I'm instructing that, hey, print Devang to it. But how do I tell that to a machine? That translation is done by the compiler. So if you look at main.class file, you will not be able to understand this code, but let me try to see whatever we can get here. Decompile class file. If I do it, open anyway, let's see with the built-in. This will look something like this. You will not be able to understand what it is, right? There are some instructions given in enq, some instructions given in null. This is not a human readable format. This is not the way we write the code here, or we don't write this code to be very nice. Machine understands this code. Okay. Now look at the next part. I say Java main. Do I get the correct output? I get the correct output. I was expecting Devang. I got the output Devang. Everything is working fine. Agree? First part compilation happened. Second part execution happened. I got the correct output. Everything good so far? Come on, guys, be quick. Okay. Now let me tell you something. I am changing this Devang to Sharma. What I'm going to do is, I'm not going to compile it again. I am just going to run it. Do I get the output, what I have written in my code? Do I get the output, what I have written in my code? No. In my code, as per my code, the output should have been Sharma. Why I'm still getting the output Devang? Come on, guys, be quick. If I'm writing in my code Sharma, why I'm getting output Devang? Correct. The output that you're getting, repeating it again, the output you're getting, the source is not the Java file. The source is the .class file. So until and unless this .class file that contains Devang previously, that's why you're getting the output from there. Until and unless you replace that and you compile this code again, the changes will not be reflected. Okay. So if I compile this again, now you will say this will be modified. Now if I run this, now you will say it will give me the correct output. This is what I was saying. And this is how any compiled language works, not specifically Java, any compiled language work. Okay. Why did I take this example? Why did I walk through all of that? Because when you are coding on lead code, or when you're coding on any online assessment, or online assessment in the sense, any online compiler, don't be confused that, hey, there is no .class file created. Just because you're running Java in online compiler doesn't mean Java will start behaving differently, or any compiled language will start behaving differently. It will keep the same logic. The only thing is there will be a dot class file. That dot class file will be generated at where? It will be generated at the lead code server instead of a local machine. Okay. And from there it is executing it. So when you make the changes and you get the output, don't be confused that, hey, my code is giving the output without compilation. That is not possible. It is still compiling. It's just that you cannot see the dot class file. Okay. That's what I have to cover. Let me take this guy, this guy, this guy, and bring it here. I close my VS Code because it's taking a lot of my RAM and I don't want to. Okay, cool. Coming back here. This port clear to all? This flow clear to all? Cool. If this part is good, now I'm going to another interesting question. And that interesting question, if you guys know the answer, well and good. If not, I'll ask that in the next class. I don't know if you guys, I don't think you guys have a class tomorrow, but whenever the next class, I'll ask that question. So you guys have enough time to think about it. One interesting question before I move to the next topic. Again, these are basics, but basics are the most important ones. Okay. So when you say integer a equal to 10, very basic question I'll start with. This is not the question, by the way. This is leading to that question. When you say integer a equal to 10, can you tell me in simple words, what does compiler understand? What does compiler do with this instruction? So if I say integer equal to 10 to a compiler, what will compiler do? Let's start with this. Come on, guys. You can talk from the step by step, what happens in this, what happens in that, so on and so forth. Come on, guys, be quick. This shouldn't take this long. All right, enough time. When you say integer a equal to 10, let's say one by one, what happens? Okay. There are not many things happening. There are only two things happening, by the way. Okay. First thing, when you say integer, how much size an integer takes? How much size an integer takes? Correct. An integer takes 4 bytes of memory. Not 8 bytes, guys, 4 bytes. In a bit64 system, it takes 4 bytes of memory. So yes, it depends on language, but most of the language is 4 bytes. What does compiler do when you say integer equal to 10? So first thing, it has an integer, means I need to reserve 4 bytes, which is nothing, which is 32 bits in memory. When I say in memory, which memory I'm talking about? This is RAM. This is your primary memory. In your primary memory, it will reserve 32 bits or 4 bytes. Under what name? It will reserve 4 bytes under the name that you have given here. If I say integer alpha, it will reserve under the name of alpha. And that will store in the registers. So if I talk about very specific in the memory in operating system, where is it stored? It is stored in the registers. Okay. So the moment you say integer equal to 10, or the moment you create an integer and initialize it, this is what happens. It takes 4 bytes and it reserves the space under that name that you have given to that variable or constant. This part clear to all? Come on, guys, quickly in the chat. This part clear to all? Okay. Now let's extend it. If I say integer array 10, my size will be what? How many bytes now? So previous was a variable. Now this is an array. Come on, guys. If it was a variable, it was 4 bytes. Now it is an array. So array is equal to 10 variables, right? So I will take 10 into 4 or 4 into 10. And that is going to be 40 bytes. 40 bytes of memory will be reserved now. So I will reserve 40 bytes, which is 320 bits. 40 bytes, which is 320 bits in memory. Again, yeah. Now what will happen? It will reserve under the name of what? ARR. Whatever name you have given, it will reserve under that name. This is something the bare basics. Whenever you initialize something, this is what happens. They will reserve a memory. They will reserve a memory under a certain name. Okay. With array, this memory will be a consecutive memory. Remember that. Now next, there are three kind of assignment operators we have. This is what we call as. Before I go there, this part clear to all? How do we store in memory? What exactly happened? This part clear to all? Okay, cool. There are three kind of generally assignment operator in programming languages. A single equal to is called assignment. A double equal to is called equality. Then we have triple equal to, which is in JavaScript. Okay. We don't have triple equal to in other languages. This is to check type and value both. This is strict check. Strict check. Okay. Now, assignment is, let's talk about this something important. When I say a equal to 10, can you guys tell me, am I giving a to 10 or am I giving 10 to a? When you say a equal to 10, is LHS assigned to RHS or is RHS assigned to LHS? That's what my question is. Let me see if I can do a poll here. I'm not sure if it has option of poll. Do we? Uh, okay, there's option of poll. Let me create if I can. Okay. One moment, guys. The poll would become easier. So I'm giving it like LHS to RHS, RHS to LHS. What? Drop down something. Or yes, I've given a poll. Quickly answer in the chat. Out of 55, come on, guys, be quick. Some of you are still yet to answer. I have received a response of 48. 7 more quickly in the chat. All right, interesting answers. Cool. Nobody else is planning to answer. Cool. Only 3 people have voted for LHS to RHS, and 52 people have voted for RHS to LHS. Cool. So if so many people are saying it, I believe it will be correct. Okay. But the question is not that. I can share the results. I don't know how to share the results, but anyways, you guys can see the results. Okay. Anyways, cool. Coming back to this. The question is either it's LHS to RHS or RHS to LHS. Can you prove me via code? That is the question. Can you guys prove me via code that it is LHS to RHS or RHS to LHS? Think about it. I'll give you guys 30 seconds. You have been doing this forever. I'm pretty sure you have been doing this and you guys know it. Maybe or may not you have observed it. Question is clear before I go. When you assign a variable, and not just with the value, with any other variable also, let's say if I put a equal to b also, can you prove via code that whether a is assigned to e or b is assigned to a? Is LHS to RHS or RHS to LHS? My question clear to all? Okay, cool guys. If my question is clear, I'll give you guys 30 seconds. Think about a very simple code example. I don't need any complicated code. Think about very simple code that you can prove by code that it is LHS to RHS or RHS to LHS, whatever you want to prove it. Okay. I'm giving you 30 seconds. Feel free to message to everyone. I will check your answers after 30 seconds and then we'll discuss. Okay. Your time starts now, guys. Utilize those 30 seconds and let me know. I want the code. I don't want any pseudo code. I don't want any comments. I want a code. Whatever language you want to code, up to you. Show me by code it's RHS to LHS or LHS to RHS. Quickly in the chat, guys. Think about it. Be quick. 30 seconds on the clock. Your time starts now. Be quick. Or guess enough time. Any updates? All right. I see a lot of output in the code. Let's see. ABC. Good example. A equal to 10, B equal to 20, number undefined. This. Okay. Cool, guys. Enough time. Enough time. Let's discuss the answer. See, there are hundreds and thousands of ways that you can prove this. Okay. There are many, many ways you can prove this. Simplest ways you can assign two values. You can compare with the values, so on and so forth. Okay. I'm taking a very simple example. Let's go via the code. We have to prove it by code. But before I go, let me just answer what is the correct answer for this. So whenever you say equal to 10, 10 equal to is incorrect format. So that will not even work. Forget about that. The understanding is irrespective of any language. Now, this word is important. It doesn't matter if you're coding in Java, C++, Python, Golang, whatever. Irrespective of any language, in programming world, whenever you use this, it means always RHS is assigned to LHS. It's never that we assign LHS to RHS. Just be clear with this part. Okay. We read it as 10 is assigned to A. It's always correctly read as 10 is assigned to A. We say equal to 10 and it's very popular, but technically it's an incorrect statement. Just telling you. We always read equal to 10, which is fine in English terms. If we want to speak, yes, equal to 10, not worry. But if in programming, this is read as 10 is assigned to A. That's the right way to put it. When you say equal to B, B is assigned to A. Okay. And this is every programming language, nothing specific to any programming language. Okay. Let's verify this with code as well. Again, as I said, there are thousands of examples. A lot of you people have given very different examples, which is great. I'll just take a very simple example. I don't want to complicate this. I'll take this. I'll just minimize this. And I'll do this. What do you think will be the output of this code? Okay. Will this code run? Okay. Cool. Guys, error is fine. What kind of error? What will I get in the error? See, understand what's the use case. My left side is an integer. My right side is a string. Agree? Left side is an integer. Right side is a string. Now, how can that example help me understand whether I'm doing LHS to RHS assignment or RHS to LHS assignment? See, if it is LHS to RHS assignment, then my error will be integer cannot be converted to string. All agree? If it is LHS to RHS assignment, it will say left side is integer, right side is string. You cannot convert integer to string. If it is the other way around, if it is RHS to LHS, then it will say string cannot be converted to integer. Agree? It will compare the RHS, it will compare the LHS, it will say, hey, the string is on which is on the right side, and on the left side you have an integer, so string cannot be converted to integer. Based upon what error I get, I will get to know whether it is LHS to RHS or RHS to LHS. All agree with this? Okay, let's run the code now. I got the error. What error did I get? I get string cannot be converted to integer. So right side is string, left side is integer. It says string cannot be converted to integer. Okay. I'll take this. I'll go back to Sublime. Here we are. There we go for the code. And let's print the output. What is the output? The output is this guy. This statement proves, or this error proves, that this is RHS to LHS assignment. This string cannot be converted to integer. It's very precisely says it's RHS to LHS statement. All clear? Everybody crystal clear with the code example? Okay. There are thousands of code examples you can take. A simple example is this one also. A equal to 10, B equal to 20, you say A equal to B. Now you print A and you print B. Now imagine if it was LHS to LHS assignment, in that case, B will become 10 and A will remain 10. Agree? But what will be the output? B will remain 20, A will remain 20. That also proves it is RHS to LHS assignment. That's it. Everybody crystal clear so far? Everybody crystal clear? Okay. Cool, guys. Let's move on to the next topic. This is done. I'll take the next topic. Let's come back here. The next topic is data types. Let's try to understand what are data types and then we'll try to do it. All right. What exactly the data type? What does data type means? A data type is identity. This word is important of any variable or constant. Okay. Data type is identity of any variable or a constant. What do you mean? If I say integer a, means a will take only the integer values. And if you say string b, it means b will take only the string values. Just like you have identity, just to give the context of identity, what does that mean? Just like you have your identity card, let's say Aadhaar card in India, or we have SIN or SSN number in US, right? That is defining who you are. That is who you are as a person. You're unique in your sense. Same way, data type is an identity of a variable or constant. For example, if I say A itself does not have any identity. What is A? A is integer, string, variable. What is it? That data type associated with it, it tells about the identity of it. Okay. So if I just say A, I have no idea what A is exactly. But if I say integer A, now I know, okay, A can take integer values. Similarly, if I talk about B, I don't know what B is. But if I say string B, now I know that it can take the string values. So a data type is the identity of a variable or a constant. This part crystal clear to all? Come on, guys, be quick. Cool. Now, when I say data type, this is something which becomes interesting here. I told you in the beginning, in programming languages, we divide into two categories. One is called the compile time languages. One is called the interpreted languages. What are these? Let's talk about it. In compile time languages, they are strictly type languages. So what do you mean by strictly type languages? Strictly type languages means if I say integer equal to 10, means the data type of A is integer and the value in A is 10. The moment you have said integer A equal to 10, it is a strictly type language. Strictly type language means now A will not be able to take any other value apart from 10. Or A will not be able to take any other value apart from integer. It can take any value, 10, 20, whatever you want, but it cannot take any value which is not an integer. It's a strictly typed. So A will only take the integers till the end of program execution. A will only take the integers till the end of the program execution. If I try to give A equal to ABC, this is going to throw me an error. This part clear to all? This is the example of compiled languages, which are strictly typed languages. The moment you have defined a data type, you cannot change it till the program execution end. If you try to assign anything else apart from the data type that you have given, that will throw you an error. Okay. Example of this compiled languages include C, C++, C Sharp, Golang, Java. They all are compiled languages. Okay. Second kind of languages are interpreted languages. What are interpreted languages? Interpreted languages are loosely typed languages. What do you mean by loosely typed languages? Let's talk about it. If I have A equal to ABC, And if I give a equal to 10, I will not get any error. Why? The moment I define a is just a literal here. Literal means any variable. So I can give it string, I can give it integer, I can give it anything that I want. It will not cause me any issue. This part clear to all? There are two kind of languages, compiled languages, which has a data type associated with it. That data type will run till the program execution. If you try to give some other value, this will throw you an error. Second kind of languages, interpreted languages. In interpreted languages, we do not have data type assigned. We just have a variable. The value that you will give will determine the data type. It's not like that we don't have data type. We do have data type. But based upon the value that you will give, it will take the data type. For example, now I will become a string and now I will become an integer. This part clear? This part clear? There is no strict data type associated with variable or constant. Everything is an object. Okay. There is no strict data type associated with a variable or a constant. Everything is an object. Example of these languages include JavaScript, Python, etc. etc. Okay. Let's quickly write a JavaScript code to verify that as well. Let's go back to our lead code. Let's take the JavaScript. Let's clear the console. Let's quickly write down the code. So console.log, we're printing this value, which is fine. I want to put a equal to 10. I want to print console.log type of a. Run the code. What do I get? I get number. Now understand this. I didn't mention a is a number, a is a string, or a is whatever. I just gave the value 10 to a. Based upon the value that I have given, it has come to a conclusion that a type is number, which is correct. If I give a equal to Devang, and then I do console.log a, what output will I get? Now I get the output string. Again, understand this. I didn't mention here I'm a number. I didn't mention here I'm a string. Based upon the value that I've given as input, it will change its data type accordingly. Everybody crystal clear with this? Come on, guys, quickly in the chat. This is what loosely typed data languages are, or interpret languages are usually. So I'll give the output here, number and string. Number and string. All right, that was one. Same you can go for Python. JavaScript language, TypeScript is compiled languages. That is correct. TypeScript is always the compiled language. TypeScript is just a compiled JavaScript, nothing else. Okay, and that was the reason TypeScript was made, because of the type safety. JavaScript is not compiled. Anyways, coming back to this same example, you can code in Python also. If you want, I can show it, or let's code the Python also. There are Python developers here too. Cool, guys. Let's quickly code in Python as well. So if I put a equal to 10 and I want, I think it's called just type rather than type of a. Let's write, run the code, clear the console, run the code, class integer, which is good. Just changing it to any string. Now run the code. What did you get? It first said I'm an integer, next it said I'm a string. It automatically changed from integer to string based upon the input that you have given. That is example of interpret languages or loosely type languages. I have taken both. Let's take this. Let's take this. All right, guys. Everybody crystal clear with the concept of data types and understanding the two kind of programming language, compiled versus interpreted. This concept clear to all? One moment, guys. This concept clear to all? Then I'll answer the questions. Okay. Is there a preference to any of the type languages in market and why? I won't say there's a preference as such. Both are made for different use cases. Try to understand what do you mean by different use cases. The different use cases both have data types. Understand, it's not like they don't have data types. In interpreted it, data type will change because internally everything is an object. Data type will change based upon the value that you're providing. Compiled languages, we go for compile safety, like type safety, right? I don't want to get an integer converted to a string and vice versa. For debugging purpose, interpret languages are very good. For the production use case, compiled languages are very good. So both of them have their own use case. Okay. Interpret also takes same memory as we don't assign type. Yes, that is correct. Everything is an object, so nothing is stored until unless you assign a value. The moment you assign a value, depending upon whatever value you assign, it will take the opposite size. Okay. All right, guys. So we talked about data type. We talked about data type is identity of variable or constant. We talked about programming languages, compile time, interpreted, and we see the code example as well. Now we are going to talk about something very important, which is types of data types. And when we talk about that, I will give you simple tricks to remember the range of it. Okay. I'll go to it, then I'll talk about it one by one. Anyways, so when we say types of data types, what does one mean by types? First is the primitive or predefined types. Predefined types. So your number, your character, your Boolean, or your decimals. Number includes four subcategories, which includes byte, short, integer, long. Character includes only one category, which is character. Boolean includes one category, which is Boolean. Decimal includes two, which is float and double. Okay, so on and so forth. These are the type of data types. The first type is primitive or predefined. This is provided by the language. Again, we are talking in the context of compile time languages. These are already defined by the language. You don't define it. Now, a lot of people get confused between the range of short, integer, long, byte. What should be the range of integer? What should be the range of long? A lot of people face difficulty in terms of remembering the range. From which value till which value you can cover under the range of integer or long or whatever that is. I am going to walk through you a simple formula. And even before the simple formula, I am going to walk through the reasoning. How do we come up with the range? Then I'll walk through the formula. You will never forget the range of any of these values. You'll be always clear. And if you forget about it, you can calculate it because now you know the reasoning behind it. Okay. So that's what we're going to discuss one by one. Before that, some numbers that you should know about in terms of memory. When you say 1 bit, this is the smallest memory or the smallest unit that can happen in a memory. 1 bit means 0 or 1, where true denotes 1, false denotes 0. That is the smallest memory. Then you have one nibble. Nibble means 4 bits. Then you have one byte. Byte means 8 bits. Then you have one KB, which means 2 raised to the power 10, which is 1024 bits. Then you have one MB, which is 2 raised to the power 10, which is bytes. This is bytes. 2 raised to the power 10 kilobytes, which is this. Then you have 1 GB, which is 2 raised to the power 10, which is 1024 megabyte. Then you have terabyte, which is 1024 gigabytes. And then petabytes, zettabytes, so on and so forth. Okay. This is something that we should know. We always talk about kilo, although mean kilo, the word means thousand, but this is not correct. In programming language, it is not correct. It is 2 raised to the power 10, which is 1024. So 1024, 1024, 1024, so on and so forth. It increases by the factor of 1024. This part clear to all? Come on, guys. This part clear to all? Okay. Now we're going to talk about this primitive or predefined types in detail. We'll talk about what is character, what is Boolean, what is decimal, what are the four categories of numbers, so on and so forth. Okay. So let's start with number one, character. What do we have in character? As the word says character, small a to small z, capital A to capital Z, 0 to 9, any kind of symbols. Symbols include your multiplication symbol, your ampersand, your hash, your at the rate, and anything like that. Okay, anything like that. These are the characters. When we go to code, we type character C equal to A. This represents a character and this represent a string. Okay. A single quote represents a character, a double quote represents a string. Now, when we say a sky character, 1 byte means 8 bits. 8 bits means 2 raised to the power 8, which is 256. 0 to 255. 256. What does that mean? My character, usually the size of the character is 1 byte. So 1 byte means 2 raised to the power 8, which is 2 raised to the power 8 is 256 combination that we can get. The sky range of 0 to 255, any value or any character that you see in your keyboard that will fit within the sky range of 0 to 255. Great. Example. Your small a corresponding to 97. Your small z will be 97 plus 25, whatever that number is. Your capital A is the sky code 65. Your capital C will have the sky code of 65 plus 25, which is 90. When we talk about size of character, and this is something you guys can take as a homework, or if you have answer, let me know. In other languages, the size of a character is 1 byte, which is 8 bits. In Java, what is the size of a character? Come on, guys, quickly. Correct. In Java, it is 2 bytes. Anybody knows the reason why? Anybody knows the reason why? Okay. Partially correct answers, not completely correct answers. Anyways, think about it. We can discuss it tomorrow whenever the next class. Think about it in case you know it well and good. If you don't know it, think about it. Okay. Size of character, coming back, size of character in all the languages 1 byte. In Java, it is specifically 2 bytes. 2 bytes means 16 bits. Okay. Coming to the code part, how do you create a character? Very simple. Character A, give the value, whatever value you want to give. Okay. This is first part. So first data type that we have is a character. Character includes small a to z, capital A to z, or any general, any single character that you can think of. A single character denotes a character, and if you put in a double quote, that is noted as a string. String is a different data type. Okay. In terms of ASCII character, we talked about it. 1 byte contains 2 raised to the power 8 combination, basically 8 bits. So every bit can be 0 or 1. That's why we got 2 raised to the power 8 combinations. 2 raised to the power 8 is 256. So we can have 0 to 255. Any symbol that you see in your keyboard will fit within the range of 0 to 255. Those are the ASCII characters that you have. However, Java takes 2 bytes, and that's something for you guys to come up to me and tell me why Java takes 2 bytes. I'll follow up on this in the next class. Okay. Now, that is first part of character. Second part is super easy. Boolean. Boolean is super easy because Boolean can be either true or it can be false. Means it can be 1, it can be 0. It just takes 1 bit. Code includes like this. You give Boolean A equal to true. And the value can either be true or the value can either be false. Okay, this is how a Boolean looks like. It takes only 1 bit of memory. In that 1 bit of memory, the value can either be assigned as true or it can be assigned as false. Nothing much to explain here. The interesting part comes now when we talk about numbers. In numbers, we have 4 categories: byte, short, integer, long. So byte takes 1 byte, short takes 2 byte, Integer take 4 bytes. Long take 8 bytes. Okay. So 1 byte, 2 byte, 4 byte, and 8 bytes. The interesting part is about their ranges. The range of a byte, sorry, the range of the byte is minus 2 raised to the power 7 to 2 raised to the power 7 minus 1. The range of a short is minus 2 to the power 15 to 2 raised to the power 15 minus 1. The range of an integer is minus 2 raised to the power 31 to 2 raised to the power 31 minus 1. And finally, the range of a long is minus 2 raised to the power 63 to 2 raised to the power 63 minus 1. Now, this is something that we need to understand and dig deeper into. How many of you face issues while remembering these ranges? You can just answer yes or no, whatever way it is. Do you guys know how to calculate this range? How do we come up to this number? Like, how do we know that what is the range value? Okay. First thing, um, instead of remembering it, instead of just remembering it or even struggling to remember with it, it's always good know the reasoning behind it. How did we come up at this number in the first place? If you know that, you can derive a formula. From that formula, you can calculate the range of any number value. Okay. But for that, you need to know how did we come to that number. So I'll walk through the reasoning. How did we come to that numbers? And I'm pretty sure, I'm 100% sure after that, you will never even forget about these numbers. And even if you forget the numbers, you can calculate the range right then and there. Simple maths. Okay. So now we are going to permutation combination a bit. Formula to calculate range of data types. Okay. We will go back to basic permutation combination. Let's try to talk about what is the formula to calculate different range of data types. I'll start from the very basic and the very beginning, and then we'll try to come up with the ranges for byte, short, integer, and long. When you say 1 byte means 8 bits. 1 bit is 0 or 1. When you say 1 bit, it's simply 0 or 1. If I talk about diagram for 1 bit, 8 bytes are there. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 bytes are there. In 1 byte, there are 8 bits, and as part of 1 bit, you can have two combinations. Either you can have 0 or you can have 1. So every place, either I can put it by 0 or I can put it by 1. Now listen to my question carefully. Imagine there are 8 chairs or there are 8 places. Each place can be filled by two ways, either 0 or 1. What is the total number of ways to fill all the complete 8 places? My question is clear to all. Okay, let me explain again. If What are the ways to fill one place? The ways to fill one place is two. Either I can do 0 or I can do 1. Simple. If a way to fill one place is 2, 0 or 1, what are the total number of ways to fill the 8 places? That is what my question is. Quickly in the chat, guys. Okay. I'm getting very different answers. – 64. Okay. All right, guys, enough time. Let's discuss the answer. It's a simple maths, it's a simple permutation combination. You don't have to use any formula either. Just use some common sense. If one place can be filled by two ways, 0 or 1. So this place can be filled by two ways. This place can be filled by two ways. This place can be filled by two ways. Two ways, two ways, two ways, two ways, two ways. What does that mean? 2 into 2 into till what? 8 times. So it is 2 raised to the power 8. That is 256 ways. All agree with this? There are 256 ways to fill the completed places. Okay. Now, out of that, now there's an interesting part. There's an unsigned and there's a signed here. What do you mean by unsigned and signed? Let's talk about this. There are two kind of numbers that we talk about. Unsigned means only positive values. So let's say if I talk about 0 to 255, that will be only positive value. 0 is considered to be a positive number. So when I say 0 to 255, total 256, because 0 is inclusive, that is positive values out of these 256 ways. When I talk about signed, it means positive and negative values. For example, minus 128 to plus 127, which is 256 in total. You divide 256 by half, that will be 128. So minus 128 to minus 1 will be 128 value, and 0 to 127 will be 128 value. So total you got 256 values. This part clear to all? This part clear to all? Okay. Now the question becomes, how do we differentiate between positive numbers or negative numbers, or signed integers or signed any data type versus unsigned data types? For that, we reserve 1 bit. 1 bit is reserved for sign or parity. We call that as least significant bit. Least significant bit. So if I talk about +5, that is 0101. If I talk about -5, there will be 0001. Okay. We write the binary complement in 2's complement. I'm not even going there, but just to tell you here, this is how we present it. So what is the total number of ways? Total number of ways will be 2 raised to the power 8 minus 1, which is 255 ways. That is what we have. Okay. So what is the final formula? I walked through everything. Let's say there was 1 byte. For 1 byte, we got 8 bits. If I'm keeping only positive numbers, my range will be from 0 to 255. If I'm keeping positive and negative numbers, my range will be from minus 128 to 127. This statement crystal clear to all. Come on, guys, be quick. Everybody got the reasoning. We started with the size. Size something you have to remember. Without size, you cannot calculate anything. What do you mean by that? You don't need to remember this range, but you must remember byte takes 1 byte, short takes 2 bytes, integer take 4 bytes, long take 8 bytes. This is mandatory. Without this, you cannot proceed anything. You don't need to remember this. This we can calculate anytime that we want to. Okay. How, based upon that calculation, what do? We know whatever number of ways we are able to calculate. If it is all positive, it will be 0 to that number minus 1. If it is positive and negative, it will divide into half. Okay. This is what I'm giving the final formula. Number 1, calculate first of all bits from the byte size, just multiplied by 8, common sense. Let's call this number as n. 1 bit is reserved for sign, either at plus or at minus. Number 3, the range will become minus 2 raised to the power n minus 1, 2 to raised to the power n minus 1 minus 1 in the case of signed values. In the case of unsigned values, this will become 0 to 2 raised to the power n minus 1 in the case of unsigned values. Okay. Now we can take an example, we can verify for the same. If I talk about a byte, one byte equals 8 bits. Okay. If I put n equal to 8 here, because that's the number of bits, my range will come minus 2 raised to the power what? 7. 8 minus 1 becomes 7. 2 raised to the power 7 minus 1. And that is the correct answer. Minus 2 raised to the power 7, 2 to raised to the power 7 minus 1, which is minus 128 to plus 127. Let's verify it for a short. Short takes 2 bytes. 2 bytes means 16 bits. So if I put n equal to 16, range will become minus 2 raised to the power 15, 2 to raised to the power 15 minus 1. Let's go for integer. Integer take 4 bytes, that is 32 bits. N will become equal to 32. My range will become minus 2 raised to the power 31, 2 to raised to the power 31 minus 1, which is roughly equal to minus 2 billion to plus 2 billion, by the way, just for your number sense. This is what an integer can contain, minus 2 raised to the power 10 to the power 9 to 2 raised to the power 10 raised to the power 9. And then finally coming for long, long take 8 bytes. 8 byte means what? 64 bits. So n becomes 64. Range becomes what? Minus 2 raised to the power 64 minus 1, which is 63. 2 to raised to the power 63 minus 1, so on and so forth. That is interlinears, by the way. Anyways, everybody crystal clear with this part. You don't need to remember it. Only thing that you need to know, it's not even remembering. The only thing that you need to know is whatever data type that you want to calculate the size, how much size it contains in the byte. That's all you need to know. Once you know that, use basic permutation combination to understand whether we are talking about positive numbers or we are talking about negative numbers. If it's just positive, 0 to that range minus 1. If it is negative also, divide by half also. Okay. So calculate number of bytes, then calculate the range for positive versus positive and negative values. Okay. So we calculated for byte, short, integer, long. Everybody will now can calculate these ranges on their own. Just let me know in the chat. Understanding is clear. How did we come to the conclusion of these ranges? Okay. Now, all of this that I mentioned about ranges with each different data type, why are these important? Why do we need to know these ranges? This is something very important. Why cannot I just use integer everywhere? Why cannot I just use byte everywhere? These are important. I'll talk about the use cases, why it is important to know the range, what purpose are we solving by knowing the range. Okay, I'll come to that. But before that, let me cover the pending one. The pending one is just the decimal part. We covered the character, we covered the number, we covered the boolean. The decimals is pending. Let me cover that. Then I'll go to the next part. Number 7 is float. Float is under a decimal. It takes 4 bytes. 4 bytes denotes 4 digits decimal precision. Next is double. Double is 8 bytes. 8 bytes is 8 digits decimal precision. Let's take an example. If I talk about float, 223.251234. Since it is 4-digit decimal precision, it will be 223.2512. 4 digits decimal precision. If I talk about double, same thing here. This will be 25123400. This is 8 digits decimal precision. This is the difference between the two. Everybody clear with the decimals? Everybody clear with the decimal? Okay. Now coming back to the use case that I mentioned about. So why do we need to know the range of these? What's the purpose that we're solving with the range of this? If you don't know the range of this, very unlikely or very likely you'll get in the problem statements. What kind of problem you can encounter? Let's talk about it. Okay, let's move to use cases. What kind of use case we can mention about? Case number one, in every problem statement that you will see, or every online assessment problem statement, and every problem on lead code as well, pretty much all the platform that you will see a word called constraints. Okay, something like this: 0 less than equal to n less than equal to 5 into 10 raised to the power 4. You will find that in every problem statement. Once we go to lead code, you will observe it. Otherwise, hacker rank, hacker earth, any online assessment you can take up, you will always be given something called constraint. Now, if you are a given constraint that your n can range from 0 to 50,000, you guys tell me, can I define byte n? Yes or no? Can I define byte n? Okay, I got one yes in the chat. I got two yes in the chat. Come on, guys, quickly in the chat. If my range is given as n can be 0 to 50,000, can I define byte n? What is the range of byte? Minus 128 to 127. Will 50,000 fit here? Can you try to put 50,000 liters of water in a tank of capacity 127? The answer is no. You cannot. The answer is no, you cannot. So byte of n, answer is no. This is incorrect. You cannot have byte of n. Okay. Can I have short of n? Can I define short of n? Come on, guys, be quick. I cannot decide byte of n. Can I decide short of n? Quickly in the chat. Okay. A lot of people are saying no to it. What's the range of short? Let's come to that. Short is minus 32768 to 32767. So when you say short of n, the answer is no. This is less than 50,000. So the answer is no. Can I put it in an unsigned short? Yes. Unsigned short will do because that range will double then. That you can do. Can I put it in an integer n? Yes or no? Definitely yes. Why? The range of integer, we talked about minus 2 billion to plus 2 billion. So 100% it will fit within the range of minus 2 billion to plus 2 billion because the values are 50,000. Okay. So use case number one, whatever constraints you are given, based upon that constraint, which data type you need to choose based upon the range of values, that is what you need to check. Okay. Based upon the constraint, which data type that you need to choose for the range of values, that is what you define. That is what you define based upon these values. Okay. That's why it's important to know the range of data types. Use case number one. Let's take use case number two as well. Okay. I will take this. I'll bring it here. Now my constraints are, let's say 0 to 50, minus 50 to 50. Small constraints. My byte range is minus 128 to 127. Can I make a byte n? Yes or no? I can make a byte and it will fit within the range of byte. I have short minus 32768 to 32767. Can I make a short n? Of course, I can make a short n. Integer is minus 2 billion to plus 2 billion. Can I make an integer n? I can make an integer n. Similarly, long is minus 2 raised to the power 63 minus 1 2 to raised to the power 63. This is not minus 1 here, this guy. So can I make it a long n? The answer is yes, I can make it a long n. Okay. Now the question becomes interesting here. I can keep it here, I can keep it here, I can keep it here, I can keep it here. What should be the best data type to assign the value n here? Correct. The answer is this. Why? See, the answer is simple. You can store in byte, you can store in short, you can store in integer, you can store in long. The question becomes, if you can solve something in 1 byte, why do you want to take 8 bytes or 4 bytes or 2 bytes for this? So if it's well within the range of byte, I can just keep 1 byte, so I will save my memory. Everybody crystal clear with this? Everybody crystal clear with this? Okay. All right. If everybody crystal clear, now I'll just give you a simple hint or a simple trick to remember whenever you start solving question. Let's say you're given huge constants like 0 less than equal to n, less than equal to very, very large number, something like this. In that case, best choice is what? Long of n. Just to give you a simple trick that will help you remember. If the constants are less than equal to 10 to the power 9, integer works well. Okay, one moment. If it is less than the power 15, long works well. If it is 10 raised to the power 21, then we have something called long long in C++. If it is 10 raised to the power 30, we have something called big integer in Java. And anything greater than 10 to the power 30 or anything which is a great number, in that case, we don't have data type defined for it. Integer, we don't have number data type defined for it. So what do we do in that case is, we define that as a string and each digit we take as a character. Okay. Although these are extreme cases that you will be encountering in extreme competitive programming cases, but more or less 99% your questions would be here, 10% your 1% your question might be here. But if you do like extreme level competitive programming, you'll find such kind of questions as well. So anyways, I've given you the entire trick, the entire shortcuts. Analyze the constant based upon the constant, which data type that you want to assign. Now you guys know. Okay. I'll quickly revise this before moving to the next topic. So first thing first, we talked about data types. Types of data types, the first category we talked about primitive or predefined. In case of loosely typed languages, what will be data type for 50? Data type for 50 will be equal to the number. Okay. Now, the first category is primitive or predefined. So we have four categories: number, character, boolean, decimal. Inside that, we have subcategories. Character is only one, char, boolean is only one, boolean. Number is four, byte, short, integer, long, decimal is two, which is float and double. Okay. So talked about character. Character just takes any character value, A to Z, capital A to Z, 0 to 9, so on and so forth. Okay. ASCII characters, which is within the range of 2 to the power 8, which is 256. Okay, these are ASCII characters. Now the size of character, this is something an action item for you guys. Other languages 1 byte, Java it's 2 bytes. You guys let me know why it is so. For Boolean, it's just taking 1 bit, either it's true or false, which is 0 or 1. Then for numbers, we have byte, short, integer, long, and for decimals, we have float and double, 4 bytes and 8 bytes respectively. Float denotes 4 digits decimal precision, double denotes 8 digits decimal precision. Now, in order that you don't have to memorize this, there is a reason that these ranges are calculated. How these are calculated, I walk through that. Simple permutation combination, basic mathematics, we get to know based upon unsigned and inside, we can reserve 1 bit for parity. We can calculate the formula like this. Okay. And this is how we get the formula for byte, short, integer, long, so on and so forth. We verified the use cases, why it is important to know these ranges, what are we doing by knowing these ranges, so on and so forth. Okay. All right, guys. Everybody crystal clear so far? Everybody crystal clear so far with everything that I have taught so far? Okay. These were the first category of data types, which is primitive or predefined, something which is provided by the language. You don't write it. Second category is user defined, means as a user, I can define a type. I can define the data type. Those data types are class, interface, enum, strings, arrays, etc. etc. These are what you call as user defined data types. Okay. That is all on your data types. Now we'll move to the operators part. Okay, let's see what we can do in operators, then we'll go to next. Operators are the next topic, right? Just want to confirm. One moment. Data types are done. Now we have the operators. For decimals, how to calculate range? No, just no. It's only for the numbers. It's not for the decimals. For decimals, we have only two types, which is float and double. Float denotes for 4 decimal points. Double denotes for 8 decimal points. It's not something that we calculate. It's what the language provides. Okay. All right, guys. Now coming to the operators part. We'll talk about all the major operators that we have, then we'll go one by one. So, first category of operators are mathematical operators. Mathematical operators, you guys know, this is addition, this is subtraction, this is multiplication, this is division, and what is this? What is this? What is this mathematical operator for? Correct. This is called modulus. What does modulus does? What does modulus does? Correct. It gives you remainder. Okay. So when you say 50 modulus 10, what will be the output? Modulus, guys, modulus. The output will be 1. That is remainder. When you say 50 divided by 7, the output will be 7, which is the quotient. So you write 50 equal to 7 into 7 plus 1, or divisor equal to dividend into quotient plus the remainder. This is your dividend, divisor, Q is quotient, R is remainder. Okay. All right. This is something all of you would probably know about already. Something to discuss in mathematical operator is operator overloading. Anybody knows what is operator overloading? Any mathematical operator that you think can be overloaded? Okay. What is operator overloading? Equal to. Equal to can be overloaded. Okay. Plus plus is not a mathematical operator. Plus plus is not a mathematical operator. Okay. Those are different kind of operator. Plus plus, minus minus, pre-increment, post-increment, pre-decrement, post-decrement. These are not mathematical operator. Okay. Anyways, coming to it. What does operator overloading means? Let's talk about this. And then we can take one example of a mathematical operator which is overloaded. One operator behaves differently with different operands. When one operator behaves differently with different operands, that is what you call as operator overloading. Example, if I take addition operator or plus operator, if I use it with the integer, it will add the numbers. If I use it with a string, it will concatenate the string. The difference between the two. Okay. So if I say 5 plus 2, that will become 7. And if I say dv plus ang, that will give it the answer. Okay. So one operator will behave differently with different operands. With integer, can add as numbers. It will add the numbers. For string, it can concatenate the strings. This part clear to all? Okay. Second category of operators, relationship or relational operators. Relational operators gives you binary result, which is either true or false. So less than, greater than, less than equal to, greater than equal to, not equal to. I think I already explained, but let me put it here. In programming, a single equal to means assignment, double equal to means equality, triple equal to means not equal to means inequality. In JavaScript specifically, this means value check, which we call as soft check, and this means value and data check. That is what you call as hard check. Okay. So if I put a equal to 10 and b equal to 10, let's say, one is a number, one is a string. If I do in JavaScript, a equal to b, what will be the output? And if I do a triple equal to b, what will be the output? Quickly tell me in the chat. Come on, guys, be quick. All agree? So it's very simple and straightforward. The relation operators, okay, one moment. The relation operators always result into true or false. A less than b less than a greater than b, less than equal to, greater than equal to. The output will be always true or false. So whether it is true or it is false, all the relation operators will give you the output in true and false only. Now in programming, single equal to means an assignment, double equal to means an equality, not equal to means an inequality. Okay. If you're having a double equal to means you're checking only the value here. And if you're doing triple equal to, you're checking the value and data types. So a equal to b, in this case, a equal to b, if you say, the output will be true. If I just compare based upon the value 10 and 10. But if I compare value and data type, now the output will become false. This part clear to all? This part clear to all? Okay. All right, guys, let's move on to third category of operators. We have around 20 minutes. Let's cover this third category of operators. I think that's all we would be able to cover, but let's see. Third category of operators are very interesting. Those are called unary operators. By the way, we are at line number 933. Let's see if we can go 1000 lines of code. Anyways, unary operators. Unary operator means, and the word unary means one operand. Binary means two operands. Operators need operands to act upon, right? If you have an operator will need an operand to act upon. Ternary means three operands. Just generally telling you, unary, binary, ternary. Now, one operand, unary operator include increment, which can be either pre or it can be post. It can be decrement, which can either be pre or it can be post, or it can be not operator, like this. Okay. So what does this pre-increment or decrement means or looks like? Plus a, minus a. We have two categories of operator, pre-operator and post-operator, pre-increment or pre-decrement, post-increment or post-decrement. Those are our unary operators, pre-operator or post-operator. What does these terms pre and post means? If it is pre-increment or pre-decrement, the word pre is important here. We increase or decrease the value by 1 before and then we use it. Okay. So we increase or decrease the value by 1 before and then we use it. For example, if I put integer a equal to 10 and I say plus a, the moment you have done plus a, the first thing it will happen is 10 will change to 11. Now if you do minus a, what will be the output? Now if you do minus a, what will be the output? Correct. Since it is pre-decrement, no guys, think about it again. A value was 10, you did plus a. Now the value becomes 11. Now if you do minus a, that 11 will change back to 10. All agree? All agree? Okay. This is what pre-increment looks like. I'm repeating it again before I go to the post-increment or decrement part. We're talking about unary operators first. Unary operator means this is only going to be one operand. one operand. What do you mean by operand? This is operator, plus plus is an operator. This guy is an operand. A is an operand. Now, in terms of operand, increment operator, which is plus plus, either it's pre-increment, post-increment, whatever it is, that is one, that is unary operator. Decrement operator, which is minus minus, whether it's pre-decrement, post-decrement, both of them are unary operator. Not a, like converting a bit, like true, not true, false, not false. All of these are unary operators. So these three categories qualify under unary operators. Then we're talking in detail about pre-increment, decrement. So first you increase and you decrease. Pre-increment, decrement means either if I do plus plus a or minus minus a, means I'm doing it before. So whether it's plus plus or minus minus, my value will increase or decrease by 1. It's always by 1, remember that. Before and then I'll use it. For example, if I put equal to 10, plus plus a will make my value 11, minus minus a will make my value 10. This part crystal clear to all. Okay. Now I'll go to the post decrement, post increment or decrement. Post increment or decrement. So this will become a plus plus and this will become a minus minus. Means we can increase, use it, and then increase or decrease the value by 1. That is the meaning of post. So if you increase, decrease, and then you use it, that is called the pre. If you use it and then you change it, that is what you call as post. Okay. Now we are going to look at the code example and we are going to verify that. And let's see how many of you will get the answer correct, by the way. We have coded in Java, we have coded in Python, we have coded in JavaScript. Let's code in C++ as well. Okay. C++ guy should not feel out of place. Hash include bits std c++.h, just importing this using namespace std. There we go. Integer main. What we need now? A equal to 10, integer c equal to a plus plus a. And now I'm going to print the value of c. Without running this code, without compiling this code, I'm giving you guys 30 seconds. Tell me what will be the output of C here, line number 8. Without running this code, based upon the understanding that we have gone through, what will be the output of C? Quickly in the chat, and let me see if I can create a poll here as well. Let me see. Actually, let me try to do this. C value, and I will give you 4 options. One is 20, one is 21. Come on, one is 22, and one is 23. All right, guys. I've given you 4 options. Either it's 20 or it's, I'll just copy this guy. That's faster. Think about it, then give the answer. I'm giving you 30 seconds. Take your time properly. Don't run the code, otherwise it will ruin the fun. 30 seconds on the clock. Complete the poll. What do you guys think? Let me know the answer. All right, guys, enough time. Enough time. Let's discuss the answer. I'm ending the poll right now. Let's see what the answer we have got. I can share the result with you guys. So 66% of you said the answer is 22. 23% of you said the answer is 21. 9% said 23. 2% said 20. Okay. Let's see what's the correct answer. The correct answer is 22. Okay. But before that, how did we get the correct answer? That is more important. I can show you the code. The output will be 22. This is correct. But more importantly, how did we get to the output of 22? Let's talk about that. Let's take this. Let's come back here. Bring it here. 22 is not based upon 11 plus 11. Understand that. See what is happening here. The moment you say a plus plus means now the value will remain 10. First, you use it, and then you're going to increase or decrease it. Agree? The moment I do a plus plus, at this moment, the value is still 10. Agree? Come on, guys, quick in the chat. At this very moment, the value is still 10 because I have to use this value. Once I have used this value, now 10 will become 11. Okay. Now you go to plus, which is a simple plus. Now you go to plus plus a. This is pre-increment. Pre-increment means if current value is 11, first you will change it to 12. So this 11 will change it to 12. So the output will be 10 plus 12, which will become 22. Everybody crystal clear with this? Give me clear in the chat. Everybody crystal clear with this? Pre and post, increment, decrement, whatever that is. Okay. That was third kind of operator. Let's quickly cover fourth kind of operator as well. We have around 8 minutes. We can cover fourth kind of operator. Ternary operators. The word ternary means 3. So there are going to be 3 operands. What 3 operands we are talking about? Let's take an example. If I say integer equal to 10, if a is equal to 10, you print the value of yes. Otherwise, you print the value of no. What will be the output here? Come on, guys, what is the output here? The output here will be yes. Okay. Now, if I have to write that using ternary operator code, this will be condition. What happens if you have success? And what will happen if it is non-success? These are the 3 operators. Operator 1, operator 2, operand 1, operand 2, operator 3. So if I put a equal to 10, same logic if I have to write. Then you do cout yes, else you do cout no. This question mark denotes the condition for if, this else denotes the condition for else. Simple. Okay. This is what the ternary operator code looks like. Everybody clear with this? Okay. All right, guys, we have successfully caught over 1000 lines of code or notes, whatever you want to call. Now let's quickly revise the session, what you discussed so far, because I don't want to overload you with everything. We are currently in work in progress for operators, which is good. Okay. We are around 5 minutes. Let's quickly revise what we have done so far as part of today's session. The first thing, considering it's our very first class, you guys didn't have an introduction about me or I didn't have introduction about you. So first we did a brief round of introduction with each other. I get to know about you guys get to know about me. We talked about how the course of the structure is going to look like. Brief discussion about how product-based companies usually conduct interviews. Then we start with the definition of data structure algorithms. First, I start with the theoretical definition, then I come back to the practical example, and then we correlate it. Data structures are just a container which is used to store data. Algorithms are the step-by-step process to solve a task. Then we talked about variables and constant. We understood with the code example, what does variable means, what does constant does, so on and so forth. Finally, we talked about compiled languages. What does the flow of compiled languages look like? We took the example in VS Code as well. Then we move to an interesting question to ask, which is assignment operator. We know that's RHS to LHS, but how do we prove our code? We have seen 2 examples to prove our code as well. Then we talked about data type, which is identity of any variable or constant. In that, we talked about compiled languages, which is a strictly data type. And then we interpret languages, which are loosely typed languages. Okay. We verified that code. We verified that with code as well. Finally, we talked about types of data types. So one is primitive and predefined, which includes 8 categories here. So we talked about the 8 categories. This is one action item for you guys. This is one thing for your homework. Figure out why Java has 2 bytes, why other languages have 1 bytes. Pasting that in the chat as well. Okay. Then we talked about Boolean, we talked about byte, short, integer, long, float, and double. We talked about the details of how do we get to the range of these values. I told you everything from a basic maths. How did we get to the range of these values, including least significant bits, unsigned and signed values, parity, etc., etc. Now you will never miss out on the range and never. We talked about the use cases, why it is important to know the range. We talked about 3 use cases along with the trick. We talked about the user-defined type. There is something which will be continuing once we go to strings and arrays as well, by the way. Then finally, we start with operators. We covered mathematical operator. We talked about operator overloading. We talked about relation operator. We talked about double equal to and triple equal to in JavaScript. We talked about unary operator. We did a quotient on unary operator. And finally, we talked about the ternary operator. This is something that we have covered in today's session. Everybody is crystal clear with whatever I have taught. Please give me a clear in the chat. Any questions, any doubts which is not clear in the today's session, let me know. Okay. Now, one thing for you guys, just let me know, one moment. Just let me know if my pace is too fast or if my pace is too slow. Because if I'm speaking too fast and if somebody is not able to understand, I can slow down. If I'm being too slow, let me know, I can pace on up as well. Is the flow too fast? Is the flow too good? Like too slow? Or is it good enough that what we are teaching right now? Little bit of slow. No, like, am I slow or should I make it slow? Comfortable with pace. Perfect. Good enough. Okay. All right, guys, we can obviously fine tune it whenever we need to, but considering that you can make it a little slow. Okay. All right. Going for concept would be difficult, so slowing down is better. Okay, sounds good. Um, that's fine. This is a very first class, so we can increase or decrease the pace whenever required. Okay. Whenever the concepts get difficult, I will usually repeat most of the things. Okay. All right, guys, we have non-primitive data type like capital integer or double when to use them. Double is not a non-primitive. Um, okay. Understand. Okay. What you're talking about is Java here. This is a good concept that you asked. See, this and this are different. This is a data type. This is what you don't call as data type. These are what you call as wrapper. These are the class wrappers along it. Okay. This is basically a class. So how the class structure is defined, you can check in any Java code. This is a data type. There's a difference between the two. Okay. All right. In case of loosely typed language, what will be data type for 50? Number. If you give a equal to 50, you print type of a, that will be a number. Okay. If you put in double quote, that will become a string. How output was 22? I explained it. Let me explain it again. How the output was 22 because this is a post increment. So first, the value, whatever it is, it's going to be same. The current value is 10, so it will remain 10. After it has been used, now it will change from 10 to 11. Then you got a plus, so you got a plus here. This is pre-increment. So current value is 11. You will increment it. So this will become 12. So that will become 10 plus 12. Okay. All right, guys. Any more questions? All good? Cool, guys. If everything is good, let's wrap up the session here for today. One moment, guys. If everything is good, let's wrap up the session here for today. Let's catch up in the next session. To your question, what will be the next session? Because I think it's a national holiday in tomorrow in India. So I don't think there will be a session for you tomorrow. That's at least I know about your batch. So it will be on the next weekend, which is Saturday. Okay. In loosely typed languages, it will bite short. Yes, that will not be. It will just be all numbers. Correct. Okay. All right, guys. Thanks for joining in. Let's catch up this. Let's wrap up the session for today, and let's catch up in the next session. We'll continue from there. You'll get, yes, of course, you'll get all the notes and everything. Thanks for joining in, and have a good day.